There it is. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Mid-Atlantic Modeling League's Chaos Cup. We're in week number 3, and we're going to have a lightning fast pregame because someone, I'm not going to mention any names, was playing Death Stranding and lost track of time. What a jerk. But tonight, we're going to have As Bad as Raiders versus Entanglements, Electrics Man versus Con Kill. We have Undead versus Imperial Nobility. We'll take a look very, very quickly at this home team. First, As Bad as Raiders is the home team, coming in a TV of 975,000 gold. They have a full 11 players on the roster, 2 mummies, a ghoul runner, 2 white blitzers, 2 skeletons, and a bunch of zombos. They have 2 dedicated fans and 3 rerolls. They're going to be up against Con Kill's Imperial Nobility team here tonight. Entanglements coming in at 9 players on the roster. Are going to have to pick up 2 journeymen. That's going to bring their effective TV up to 1,040,000 gold. They've got 2 blitzers, 3 of the 4 bodyguards. They have the thrower and a bunch of linemen as well. 2 of those linemen are going to be a journeyman, 1 oppo, 3 dedicated fans, 3 rerolls. This is a control team versus a bit of a hybrid team in this Undead. I consider Undead kind of a bashy team, really. But, you know, they have a lot of speed in the ghoul runners. They have a lot of strength in the mummies. Those zombies, they're really not that bad either. For 40k, they're very slow, but otherwise great stat line, and they have regen. Just one of the ghoul runners on this roster tonight. That's going to be a sticking point for As Bad as Raiders as they go up against this Imperial Nobility team tonight. The Imperial Nobility team, a control team, they have a lot of control skills, and we're going to get this game started in just a minute here. They have a lot of control skills. And their job with these skills, you'll see here in just a minute as I get back into this roster here. Their job with these skills, right? They have the bodyguards that have stand firm. They have wrestle. They have the linemen that have fend. Their job is to, or rather the coach's job with these pieces is to put these pieces where he wants the pieces to be and then carve out a section of the pitch for himself. That could be kind of a tough thing to do, in my opinion, whether you're a control team or not. This team specializes in it, so the idea is going to be to have these linemen, right, prevent the opposing team from following up. Stand firm means that the bodyguards are going to stay right where they are. These blitzers are the stars of the show here, but they have the speed, they have the block skills, they also have catch that pairs naturally with the thrower. It's difficult to control the pitch because I think movement in this game is probably the hardest thing to really grok. It's obviously very easy to understand, hey, I take my guy and I move him this many spaces here or there, but understanding where the tackle zones are, where the holes are, and where they can develop can be really tricky, even for the best coaches. And so they're really just, I think, one of the hardest team archetypes to coach in the game of Blood Bowl. As Bad as Raiders are going to be a defense to start this game. This is the Undead team. They have 5 on the line. I apologize for being late, but I tell you, Death Stranding's really good. I love that game, and I'm looking forward to Death Stranding too. Oh boy. 2 of these mummies on the line here for the defense. Now the offense, the Imp team going to be on offense here. They have 3 on the line spread wide. They have everybody else forward except for the thrower who's going to receive. Here's the kick. Clear skies for this game. We have a prayer to Nuffle. It's going to be a thrown rock. Oh boy. So this is the throw a rock kickoff event here. This is the kickoff event that punishes stalling in this game. So this is going to be very interesting. Very interesting. If you have the ball and you can move forward, and you don't, or you can advance your position and you don't, you are considered to be stalling. And with this kickoff event table, the fans aren't going to like that. So I think it's, what is it, a 5+, I believe, where they'll throw a rock on a stalling player? Yeah, it's a 5+. Maybe not Death Stranding 2. The post-tracks wheel fell off. Man, I tell you, I, oh man. So I love Kojima games a lot, but just watching like an entire highway get built by a whole bunch of players, and then I could just get on my trike and scoot down the highway between all the ghosts. If you don't know what Death Stranding is, I won't get into it. Maybe I will, but it is it's a lot. There's a lot going on. Ball's going to move in the right wide zone here in the opposing 4-yard line. Trying to encircle the defense here on the left side. 2-die block to get things started against this heavy defensive line. They get a knockdown. Two-die blitz in the right wide zone. That's going to be a pushback, and then Pat Cloverhitch on the block will follow up and try to get some protection on the ball carrier. Two-die block down on the right defensive lineman gets a knockdown, follows up. The journeyman parked in the center will take the block. One-die block, gets a push out of this, stays put. And that's it. Turn one, back to the defense. Oh, Ajax the Riot. Thank you very much for the kind words. Welcome to the stream. Welcome everyone to the stream. BB Nut, Ajax, Tizzle Bizzle, Electrics Man. Thank you all very, very much. 777 Castle as well. Mediocre Greatness. Welcome to the stream. Two-die block against the number 11 right tackle. Gets a push out of this. Cannot follow up to defend. So what Fend is doing here, right? This is freeing up the space, right? He's got his tackle zone still, but more importantly, the slow piece can't follow up, can't continue to apply pressure and take the blocks. These mummies would have to blitz if they want to take a future block. Tizzle Bizzle demands death. We need more blood in this match. 1 minute to go here in turn one for as bad as Raiders. We have 3 games for you this evening. Not quite a triple header. Let me look at the schedule. The next game tonight is going to be at 9:30 p.m. This evening, Eastern Standard Time. That's UTC -5. That's going to be Philosopher's Song versus Dream of Wish Foundation, Lizards versus Halflings. And then that'll immediately be followed up by the Birds of a Feather versus the Fishy Fiends, Galeshi versus Ajax. So we'll have those 2 games later this evening as well. Defense taking marks against the screen, the offensive screen here, protecting the ball carrier, shifting to the right as well. 1-die block back at the line of scrimmage on the left side. Gets a POW out of this against Benedict, the number 7 lineman. Can't follow up. Do defend. Maybe the most important piece here, I don't know if it's the most important piece, but arguably the most important piece on this defensive team here is going to be Shock Bowers, the number 3 Ghoul runner here. Fastest piece on the team and just the 1 Ghoul runner on the roster. Certainly has a target on its back. All right, so Death Stranding. Listen. It's very simple. Death Stranding is just a game about being a mailman in a world where you have to carry babies in bottles connected to your body harness so that a machine can check for ghosts that cause nuclear explosions if they come into contact with living humans. It's very simple. It's very. Oh, and somehow you end up in World War I, it seems, at some point. 2-9 block on the right side of the line. You get a pal here against Colton Thriller. Getting the assist against Trey Stucker. The journeyman Ewart comes in to close the back of this. I guess we could call this a cage. It's a single player game, but is also kind of multiplayer. Like, you're playing by yourself. It's your game, but other people can build stuff and leave stuff for you in the game. So people can build highways and shelters and all sorts of stuff. Vehicles, trucks, ladders. It's a lot of fun. Well, I guess arguably a lot of fun. I think it's great. But if you don't like a game about walking to places, you might not like it. 2-9 blitz by Pat Cloverhitch. Going to get the knockdown against Spade Hobbs. And moves forward. So continuing to control this area of the pitch here. Did a real great job right out of the gate here. Encircling on the left side, moving to the right, shifting all the players to the right here as we go into turn 2 for the defense. And now the ball on the opposing 14-yard line. 20, 18, 16-yard line. BB Nut says, if you imagine someone took all the craziest bits of all the Metal Gear Solid games, added them together without really making much effort into making these bits make sense, and you are just a glorified postman, that's Death Stranding. You know what? I wanna argue, but you're 100% right. that's Death Stranding. But you're Norman Reedus as a postman, and Conan O'Brien's in it, and he gives you an otter hat. That's right, an otter hat, a hat that looks like the head of an otter. It makes a lot of sense. It makes a lot of sense. One die blitz on the ball carrier is going to get the knockdown here. Going to get the 9+. Ball bounces into the hands of the blitzer. Fails the pickup. That's a big 5 pickup. He won't reroll this. We'll see where this ball ends up. It's going to end up laterally to the left. Good blitzer on the one die blitz. Had the block skills, so not too bad of a blitz here. BB Nut says, I enjoyed watching Jacksepticeye play it. I don't think I could have gotten into it myself. I love it. I absolutely love it. I also love Metal Gear and Snatcher and Police Knots and all that jazz. I've been playing the Metal Gear Solid board game with a friend, and they've done a real good job. It's basically, it's very slavish to Metal Gear Solid. 50-50 pickup works out. Shock Bowers now in possession of the ball. The defense recovering the ball here very early in the half. We'll see if they'll be able to continue to hold on to it. I don't know. It's scary. Yeah, the Metal Gear Solid board game is just Metal Gear Solid. You quote save your game. It's a campaign game. You save your game by putting all your cards in a box that looks like a PlayStation memory card. And they keep all the tricks. I won't spoil it for anybody that wants to play. I won't spoil too much for people that want to play the game. It's a brand new game. But there's one point very early in the game when the DARPA chief dies, and he's like, he gives you the PAL card. We had missed this in our playthrough. Both down. Result's going to be a turn. Oh, got KO'd. Got a stun out of it. I don't know if that's worth the trade or not. We'll see. Turn 3 here for Entanglements. But when the DARPA chief dies, he's like, the PAL card key, it's just under the UPC code on the back of the box. And then he dies. And if you look on the back of the box, there's a keyword that allows you to unlock the PAL card key. Kind of like Meryl's frequency in the old game when you had to look on the back of the box for the frequency. I thought that was a nice touch. Snake! Double pals here in turn 3 for Entanglements. Gets a pal, looking for a 9+, doesn't get it. Electrics Man trying to get as much protection on this recovery as possible. Move the mummy back. Has Jacoby Deers here, number 8 on the right side of the ball carrier. BB Nut says, I'm really enjoying the Slay the Spire board game. Different enough from the PC game. I don't know if I've played it. I know somebody in one of my game groups has it. And I know it's hit the table. I don't think I've played it, though. Rush is in a position to get a mark on the ball carrier. Here's the blitz. 2-die blitz. Got the pal, yeah. Still good recovery. It was real tough trying to get protection on the ball carrier. We'll see where the ball ends up. It's going to bounce one space backwards to the 18-16, 14-yard line. I like deck builders. I hate roguelikes. So, one die block over the right wide zone gets a push. Turn 3 back to as bad as Raiders. 2 rerolls available for the half. I think my favorite deck build. It's a deck builder slash area control game. It's Tyrants of the Underdark. Absolutely adore that game. It's got a D&D theme. It doesn't have to. It could be themed as anything really, but it's amazing. Diablo on the blitz, 2-die blitz. Gets the knockdown here on Ollie Sheetbend. No armor break. Scrum forming around the ball. Two-die block in the left wide zone against Roland Noose. Gets the knockdown here. Roland Noose, a bodyguard, has that stand firm skill. Also has wrestle. So if there's a both down result against Roland Noose, what can happen here is Roland Noose can say, you know what, we're both going down. There's going to be no armor break, but it won't be a turnover either. BBNet says Aeon's End or Astro Knights, basically the same-ish game, but sci-fi, I think, are the two best deck builders. I've not played either of them. A friend of mine introduced me, I think it's a new game, to a deck builder called Mistborn, I think it was called. It was pretty good. I think it's based on a novel. I don't know anything about the novel, but all I remember thematically with it was like, it's called Mistborn, but it's all about like metals. I don't know where the mist comes in, but it was a good game. All right, I'll check it out. Two-die block back at the line of scrimmage, gets a pal. Justin, welcome to the stream. And follow up to defend. Floyd Trucker Hitch getting knocked down on the block. As bad as Raiders back on the bonus clock. They have 6 minutes, 21 seconds remaining. They're going to take a one-die block in the right wide zone. That's going to be a skull. They're going to eat this, and that'll be a turnover. Turn 4 for Entanglements now. Entanglements got very far down pitch very early. Ended up losing the ball on a one-die blitz. And now scrum forming around the ball on the As Bad As Raiders side of the pitch here. Standing up players after the block. Has 3 re-rolls. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. Colton Thriller. Somebody call the doctor. Oh my goodness. His leg. Colton, no. Colton, no. Colton, buddy, it's all right. It's all right. Stop moving. Stop moving. You're going to make it worse. 2-die blitz. Gets the knockdown thanks to the block skill here on the blitzer. Stands up Ollie Sheephead, the number 3 bodyguard, just below the ball. Currently marked by Diablo, the number 2 mummy. 2-die block on Daniel Carcassonne? Let's go Carcassonne. Let's go Carcassonne. No armor break here. These skeletons are like zombies, but they trade an MA for, or they lose an AV for a point of MA. They're also thick-skulled. Rush into position to recover the ball. Whoa! Good pickup on the catch after clearing the ball. Hands off the Michael Bow line. There's the score. Well done, 1-0. Entanglements gets on the board. Easy peasy. Think nothing of it. Recovers and hands off for the score. Well done. In Division A, currently Ajax is the Fishy Fiends. They'll be up later this evening. They're in first place. The Chaos Renegades team, they're 2-0 going into week 3 here. BB Nuts Believe Broncos are in second place. The Nurgle team 1-1-0 is their record. And Malik's Lizard Wizard Gizfest are a Norse team 1-1-0 is their record. In Division B, currently in first place, are Spire's Philosopher's Song, a Lizard team. 1-1-0 is their record. Tied for second place is, hey, that's my team, Technobabble Inc., a human team. 1-1-0 is their record. NS Beavers, Wooden Men, and Iron Trees, a What Elf team. 1-1-0 is their record. There's just one touchdown difference between first and second place. And in Division C, currently in first place is Clyphus's Odin, it's Snuffle. Their Norse team 2-0, 0-0 is their record. Doug, the Minotaur's Dinner Battle Darlings, are in second place with a record of 2-0-0. They're a Dwarven team. And Conkill up tonight. They're in third place in Division C. Entanglements, an Imperial Nobility team. They're currently 1-0-0, looking for their second win here in week 3. Each team got a bribe on the kickoff event. Ball kicked all the way in the end zone by the defense. And now it's going to be As Bad As Raiders up on offense. Try to get on the board here in the first half of the game. If they can score, it'll be a 1-1 draw, and they'll be on offense to start the second half of the game as well. Final block on the line on the right defensive end. Gets a POW against the Journeyman. Looking for a 7+ to break armor, but doesn't get it. Oh, fails the pickup here after the block. We'll have to spend a reroll. Doesn't spend the reroll. Doesn't spend the reroll. It's a 3/8 shot that it went out of bounds and says, you know what? I'm fine with it landing right here. That'll be a turnover. Turn 5. Now back to Entanglements. Second half of the game. The ball's going to stay in play on the 24-yard line. And yeah, now here comes Ollie Sheepman around the left sideline here, taking a mark on Jacoby Deers, the number 8 zombie over in the left wide zone. Best Duke says, don't worry, Group A. I'll be at the bottom gladly holding you all up. A team player. Festoon on a 3-stream streak. Thank you very much. Thanks for hanging out and watching this game. This awesome game of Blood Bowl, one of my favorite board games ever made. I didn't realize Game Workshop stores still existed in this area. I went to a restaurant with some friends this weekend, and there was a Games Workshop store. It was called a Warhammer store now, I suppose. But it was awesome. It was so cool. Armor break in the left wide zone here on the blitz. Got the KO. Well done. And now it's all tied up on the pitch. 10v10. Turn 5 back to as bad as Raiders. Some pressure starting to be applied here. Not being able to recover this ball means it's going to be a difficult situation for where this ball ends up, if he's even able to pick it up at all. So with a MA of 7, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 without rushing, right? So this is where you can get. Here's where the defense is. Here's where free offensive players are. Here. So he's going to need to either pull back or stay back. But if he stays back, there's almost certainly a handoff that's going to have to happen. And if he pulls back, there's going to be big-time pressure that's going to be applied to the cage. 2-die block on the line. Gets a POW against the journeyman. Number 10, Ewart. I'm going to say his name is Ewart. Ewart. Gets an armor break, gets a stun out of this. Ewart. 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 You know what? He's number 10. He's number 10. 50 seconds left on the clock here in turn number 5. Good pickup here by the Ghoul Runner. Shock Bowers, the only ghoul on this roster. I like to get all my ghouls ASAP on an undead team. We'll see what how Electric's Man kits out this team as this competition moves on. A lot of teams, right? They're missing players they want in the beginning because they just don't have enough money for it, right? You have 1 million gold to spend. Can't get everything you want at the beginning, so you have to make do with what you have. But one ghoul, for me anyway, is scary on a undead team. All right, so here's the cage. Number 6, going to pull into the right as well, it seems. This means pressure is going to start to be applied to this cage by the defense. As bad as Raiders back on the bonus clock. They have 5 minutes, 46 seconds on the bonus clock. Here's the blitz on the right side. 1-die blitz. They'll get a both down out of this. We'll see if they get the 8+ on the armor break. They do, but they also get their armor broken. Stun for a stun. Turn 6 now for Entanglements. They're in the lead 1-0. Trying to stop the score here. 3 turns left for this undead team to get on the board. Minute 18 on the clock here for Entanglements. They have 3 rerolls. Remember, they got that bribe on the kickoff event as well. And so here's that pressure being applied on the left side here. This is what we were talking about earlier. With that ball, with that failed catch here, and just letting that ball end up on the ground, it was lucky that it ended up near the ball carrier, but then that meant that all they could do is either stay far back here with the ball carrier, and then they'll have to hand off or maybe even pass in a future turn as this pressure starts to descend in the backfield here, or they cage up and then pressure is going to start to be applied on the cage, and that's exactly what's happened here. Mr. Rocker Crocker with the 3-stream streak. Welcome to the stream. Thank you very much. Even with a not quite muted lurk, I see this. I need to click. Thank you very much. As bad as Raiders. They have 3 turns left to get on the board here. You can see this defense. There's still a secondary in the defense here, and they're keeping one of these blitzers back in the secondary to be able to react to the cage. 2-die block by Max gets the pal here. Mummy moves forward. Mummy's very, very strong, very powerful pieces on an undead team. Double pals here. Double pals here by Trey Stucker, the number 4 blitzer. Very, very strong pieces with a strength of 5. They're very slow, but you can see number 1's already leveled up and picked up the guard skill. So if these mummies stay paired up, Diablo will always have a strength of 6. You'll almost certainly see guard picked up on these mummies and then block, and they'll just be a menacing powerhouse. They're going to be on the front of the cage here. They're not going to be able to last for the entire duration of this drive here. They're just too slow to cover the ball carrier for the remaining 2 turns of this potential 2 turns of this drive anyway. Oh, Von Rue, thank you very much, and welcome to the stream. Taking a mark on the right side here. Pat Cloverhitch, the downfield safety here, number 1. Currently in front of the cage, but also marked by Fran, the number 11 lineman. I am indeed. Thank you, Von Rue. Hope you are as well. BB says I'm so tempted to fire all my players just before we start to make all the cards invalid. Turn 7. Turn 7 for Entanglements. They have 2 turns to stop the score here. Failed dodge by Ollie Sheetbend. Spends the reroll. Gets in position to mark the back left corner of the cage. Pressure is going to remain applied. And it's going to be heavy here, trying to stop this score. Shock Bowers not in scoring position just yet. We'll have to end this turn in scoring position. We'll see how that will happen in this upcoming turn. But first, the Imperial Nobility team are going to try to tighten the noose here. Big armor break on Fran. Fran not going to be a problem for the rest of this drive. And Pat Cloverhitch, again, staying in front of the cage, the safety. Has the block skill, has MA of 7, can match Shock Bowers point for point in speed. There's some sort of memory leak that I have. I gotta pinpoint where it is. After a couple of days, my RAM usage shoots through the roof. Fails the rush on the stand-up blitz. Going to spend another reroll. 2-die blitz gets a push on the number 6 Skelly Man, and will follow up to take a mark on the ball carrier. Very well done here. 2 rerolls spent this turn. This is a big change from the old version of the rules. Gets a pal here against Dig a Hole. The old version of the game, you could spend 1 team reroll per turn. Now you can spend as many as you want, but you can only re-roll a die pool once. So you can make very big plays. It means having more re-rolls is more powerful than it used to be. There was a point in the old game where more rerolls was just wasted money. You could still certainly argue that's the case here, but at least now here you can spend them on very big plays. But it also sort of highlights the importance of holding on to those rerolls and only using them when it really affects the game state, right? You want to keep those. You don't want to spend a reroll if you're going to get nothing out of it. You want to hold on to those rerolls where you can make a big play, or you can keep your drive alive, or get you in a better position. Just like here. Oh no, quad skulls is gonna be it. Gonna be it. Max takes the block, but's getting knocked to the ground. Yeah. Oh boy. Roland Noose breaks his neck going down, but I think it's a trade he's willing to take. The Oppo's gonna be spent here, and it's still a neck injury. So that's one edge that's going to be lost. I don't know if he's going to stay on the roster or not, but now the ball in very real danger. Yeah, it's great having strength 5 pieces, especially these mummies. These are big guys with no nega traits. They have mighty blow. It's awesome. But when you don't have block, the blocks are a lot more risky than they seem at first. And so it always stings when you end up rolling a both down, because you're like, oh man, I want to be safe here, but it's too early. I don't have block on them yet. As bad as Raiders, they're not going to be able to get on the board here. I don't think they have any way of getting on the board. They're going to push the ball carrier back one space on the blitz. Ball carrier is going to eat another die here. Really, Electric Man is just hoping this Ghoul Runner stays healthy for the second half of this game. This was the weakness that we talked about in the 10-second pregame. But if this Ghoul Runner is lost, that's going to be a big hurt here for as bad as Raiders. They're going to lose a very, very important piece. BBNet says it's why you need to try to make the mummies block 3 dice. I would agree. Yep, and that's really in my opinion anyway, that's the importance of guard on these mummies. You have guard on both mummies, let's say. You keep them paired up, strength 6. Very easy to get a 3-die block out of that, and just have them sort of trundle down pitch and murder people. Shock Bowers remaining on his feet here. And he'll be alive for the second half of this game. 2-die block over on the right side of the line will be another push here. Another block coming up on number 7 lineman. Got the pal here looking for an 8+. Try to get a removal that sticks for the second half. Doesn't get it. Final turn of the half. As bad as Raiders tried to get on the board, they're going to not be successful. Well, is there a way to get a push out of this? B.1234, welcome to the stream. How's it going? Would need 2 pushes on the ball carrier in order to score. Uphill blitz against number 9. Works out thanks to the block skill and breaks armor, but doesn't get anything significant out of it. Two-die block against Floyd Trucker Hitch. Looking to get some player advantage here before the second half of the game. Breaks armor. Only gets a stun out of it. Probably tries to throw the ball. I don't think it's worth the risk dodging the ghoul away. Yep, indeed. That'll be the end. 1-0. Entanglements in the lead. As Bad as Raiders will be on offense to start the second half of this game. They're down just a touchdown. Entanglements are going to get back their KO. So I think that's 10v10 on the pitch. 10v11 on the pitch. Wow. So a one-man player advantage for As Bad as Raiders. We have a doubleheader this evening starting about 3 hours from now. That'll be Philosopher's Song versus Dream and Wish Foundation, Spire versus Nick Satan, Lizards versus Halflings to start the doubleheader. And then following that, we have the Birds of a Feather versus the Fishy Fiends, Galeshi versus Ajax. That is that Elven Union? Let's see what that is. Indeed it is. It's Elven Union versus Chaos Renegades. That'll be the second game of our doubleheader this evening. Deep kick by the defense. And, and the defense is going to earn an extra reroll here to start the second half. Praise Nuffle. Brilliant coaching on the kickoff event table. That's your assistant coaches plus a D6. Neither team has assistant coaches on their roster. So it was just a straight roll-off. Entanglements won it, and they'll pick up an extra reroll. Ball kicked to the 24-yard line in the left wide zone. 2-die block on the line here. 3 on the line for the defense, 4 for the offense. They're going to get a pal to start the drive. Two-die block gets a pal here. There's a friend of mine in my game group who just watched Evangelion, which I obviously love. I love that show. And just sort of surprised me. He's like, oh, I watched it. And I was like, what did you think? He's like, the ending was really weird. I was like, yep, that's fair. Breaks Harbor on the nose guard, gets a stun out of this. But then I suggested to him to watch the Rebuild movies. But it's very fun to have somebody who just like, hey, that thing you adore? Yeah, I checked it out. I have a buddy whose daughter and her boyfriend, this was, a year or two ago at this point. They're into cartoons, into anime. And they're like, oh, have you watched this? Have you watched that? And the boyfriend was like, what's your favorite anime? And I was like, oh, it's Neon Genesis Evangelion. And he's like, well, what's that? And I was like, oh, my heart's broken. Oh, no. Oh, I'm old enough where kids don't know anime that I watch. I wasn't prepared for that. Turn 9 now for Entanglements. B.123 says, I'm going to the State House and Senate in the next few days. So fun. What is that? Like you're going to the building? Two-die blitz on the left side of the line here. Gets a push out of it. Ball currently on As Bad as Raiders' own 22-yard line. Is this for work? Turn 10 for As Bad as Raiders. Oh, for your union. Oh, that's cool. BBNet says, I'll be honest, the ending of the show really annoyed me. The movies did help a lot. I think that's totally fair. I think it annoyed many people. That's why End of Evangelion was made. I liked it, but I understand the ire. Two-die blitz on the right side of the line gets a pal here against the journeyman. Applying a little bit of side pressure here with the defensive line. It's going to get pushed back and knocked down. Ball now advances to the Raiders' own 8-yard line. I'm actually still, I won't spoil it for anyone, but I don't like the ending to the last movie, Evangelion 3.0 plus 1.0, Thrice Upon a Time. That annoys me. But I haven't really sort of critiqued it yet. So I need to kind of figure out where I stand on it. But I was very annoyed. My initial reaction is annoyance. Offense pulling in. They're giving up on the left side of the line here. I think we're going to see the left side of this defense try to apply some pressure on the side here of the screen. So against this imp team, I think a team, generally speaking, would want to spread out, but it's difficult with this undead team because so many players are just have no speed, right? The linemen are MA4, the mummies are MA3. You really only have the speed in the blitzers at an MA of 6 and the ghoul runner at MA of 7. Does have the two skeletons. Well, does he have the two skeletons? Yeah, he has the two skeletons that are an MA5. I wouldn't call that fast, though. Two die block on the right side of the line. Gets a both standing result out of this. It's a blitzer versus blitzer. Blitzers are defined by having the block skill. BB Nut says, I also had an old man shouts at clouds watching newer Gundam. Old Gundam felt like it had stakes, and the new one, and one hit could cripple a mech. New Gundam, I get very bored watching. 10,000 missiles exploding on a Gundam, and it just carries on. Yeah, I don't mind newer Gundam. Like, I really liked Witch from Mercury. But I will say I don't like the super robot Gundams. I don't like the Gundams I say as I just said I liked Witch from Mercury, but I don't like the Gundams where like kids are piloting them generally. I like the Gundam that's about war. So like Universal Century stuff, generally speaking. Turn 11 here for as bad as Raiders. 2-die blitz by Diablo. Gets a POW here against Floyd Trucker Hitch. Looking for a 7+ with Mighty Blow. Mighty Blow gives you a +1 to your armor or your injury roll, whichever you need it for. And there it is. Needed it on the armor roll, so got the +1 there, and then had a straight injury roll, got the removal. Well done. Ball's going to advance now to the Raiders' own 2-yard line. BBNet says, yeah, the war story is the best, and that makes it pretty clear neither side are the good guys. Yeah, so that actually touches on one of my big annoyances with those shows is I hate the ones that are, it's like, oh yeah, there are just good guys and bad, like you have heroes and mustache twirling bad guys. I like the more nuanced stories. And you know, because so like Witch from Mercury, I understand that children are piloting the mechs and stuff, but that was, you know, you've got Earth, and Earth is impoverished because this happened, and this happened because of that, and there were natural consequences to certain actions, and I think there's more interesting storytelling there when the relationships are more complicated than just good guys and bad guys. 30 seconds left in turn 11 for as bad as Raiders. They have the ball caged up pretty solidly here. Using those mummies to push forward. We'll have to be careful, though. They have their 3 rerolls. 1 die block over in the right wide zone is going to be a skull. They're going to eat that, and that'll be a turnover. Ooh, scary to get the skull on your blitzer. But the blitzer stays alive. Turn 10 now for entanglements. And that's one of the reasons why I loved Evangelion. Like when that show came out, the show came out in the mid '90s, and when it came out, it was Like, there are no heroes in that, at least in the original show. Like, nobody's a good guy. Everyone sucks. 2-9 block, breaks armor here. It's a stun out of it. A lot of people will make the argument that the protagonist, Shinji Ikari, is a quote unquote good guy, and I would politely point out the beginning of the movie, The End of Evangelion. I will not describe what happens, but yeah, it's yeah. 25 seconds to go here. Turn 11 for Entanglements. Continuing to apply that pressure on the right side. The R bit? The R bit. The hospital bit. With Asuka and Shinji. Turn 12 for as bad as Raiders. So they put the offense. So again, the offense gave up the left wide zone, so the defense came in and applied that pressure. That means this offense needs to keep moving or needs to start trying to claw away some pitch for themselves. A word that's similar to rap. I'm not sure what you're referring to. I'm sorry. But because of this pressure here, this cage needs to keep moving. And if they find themselves stuck, which they are almost certainly going to find themselves stuck on a turn here, then they need to make sure that they're controlling some of this pitch so they have some movement, they have some options to move to. A word that's similar to rap. Crap. Oh, yes. Yes, that's exactly what I'm talking about. I had to go through the letters in my head. Yes. 2-9 Blitz gets a pal here on Charles Windsor. This is the thrower, and 8+ will break armor here. It is a word similar to rap. Shinji is not. Everybody's got issues, but the thing is, like they're not really bad guys either, right? It's complicated. Like people are complicated. That was very refreshing, at least back at the time. Back on the bonus clock for as bad as Raiders. Both coaches doing a very good job managing their bonus clock, being very efficient with their turns. Haven't really need to dip into it too much, and that's really where you want to be, right? You want to be able to take your actions where the course is clear, where the tactics are clear. Take your actions, move on, so you can keep the time on the clock for when you really need it. When you're in a situation where you need to start calculating odds, or maybe trying to read your opponent, or have them pull them into a gambit so you can break through their defense or their offense. Final turn of the third quarter. Entanglements in the lead here. Yep, with this pressure, they've stopped this movement for a turn here. And now this is what we were talking about just a few moments ago. Now this offense needs to make something happen here. They don't have a whole lot of the pitch to themselves. They are up against a control team. That's what they do. They control pitch. So it can be very difficult to try to push back, right? You talk about these linemen, they have fend. If you block, you're not able to follow up and open up some space for yourself if fend is used, right? So it can be real difficult to try to open up some space and some breathing room. And now the ball carrier marked on the blitz. Michael Bolin on the blitz. BB says they're forcing teenagers to push themselves way beyond their limit. You expect them to lash out in extreme ways. Yep, I agree. Even the adults have their issues. Yeah, it was cool. I like it a lot. And, you know, again, for the time, like the mech designs being very organic, that was new. The production was new. Like, you know, it didn't have a super high budget. And so instead of just making it look cheap, they found ways to work within their budget with their direction and their production, right? Like when they're, you know, there are lots of scenes where two characters are talking, but the characters are not on screen, right? That's, I mean, sure, you could see that as a cost cutting measure, and it was, but it was very unique and interesting direction. And you would see maybe Gendo at his desk, you know, as a shadow, but you're given this scene while this exposition is happening, and you see like the tree of life diagram, like on the roof of the office and stuff. It was so cool, man. I love that show. Dude, oh, double skulls here. We'll have to re-roll this on the block. Gets a pal here against Town Square Knot, looking for an 8+. Got the 8+. But what's going to happen with the ball carrier here? Still has the blitz on the table. Every stun, every armor break here is a big get for the offense here, because they are encircled, they are entrapped by the defense and really have nowhere to go. That one turn of stalled movement, we discussed that a few turns ago. This is the problem that they now have to face. It can be very difficult to get out of this situation. You can see here, there's nowhere to go for this ball carrier except to the back right. Oh no, this is going to be a turnover as well. Has to spend the reroll to keep the drive alive, gets a push. And again, will not be able to follow up due to fend. One die blitz against Pat Cloverhitch. This is not going to work. Will the final die be spent here? I think it has to. Yep. Final reroll, and that's not going to cut it. Fran's going to get knocked down, and this ball carrier needs to pray to Nuffle here on turn 13. Big trouble now for as bad as Raiders. They're finding themselves marked by two players on the left side. They only have Bait Hobbs here helping to defend the ball carrier. Entanglements with 2 rerolls remaining. Two-die block. Electrics Man says, GG, it's not over yet. It's not over yet. You got to pray to Nuffle. Put your faith in Nuffle. I have seen crazier things happen. I've talked about this a million times, but that's one of the things I really like about games like this. It seems like a game of randomness. We all know it's not. There is randomness in the game, though, and the reason I like randomness in games is because they can force game states. Shock Power stays on his feet. Spends a reroll into double pals. We'll see if he stays on the pitch. Randomness forces you to change tactics and strategies. If you make all the right... Oh, boy. Michael Bolin recovers the ball on the blitz. Wow. Wow, what a hero. Had to spend a reroll here. Got double pals out of it. Oh, this isn't even the right... Lame. It's not even the right replay. Sometimes I catch it too fast and it doesn't save out before I swap over. Turn 14 for as bad as Raiders. Turn 14, as bad as Raiders, definitely not out of this ball game. Take a 2-die block against Ali Sheetbend. That's going to be a turnover. Oh, Russell's almost certainly not going to be used here. Well, we'll see if it is, but I don't think it's going to be used. Yep. Elects not to use Fen, so that's a turnover. Turn 14 back to Entanglements. But having the dice means that not only do you have to, if you make all the right decisions, it still might not go your way, and so you have to have contingencies. And so there are these layers of decision making that make it a very interesting game. But also, it always gives you a way out, right? Like maybe they're very slim odds, but you always have a chance. Yeah, I know. I know. PB says as bad as Raiders not out of this game as they won in 9 and probably lose the game. It was unfortunate timing. Still a very well played game by both coaches. I think this has been a very good game, and again, just a real tough game. I think with just having the one goal. Very difficult matchup for this. I wouldn't say for Undead in general, but for this particular roster. Early in the season, that's when a lot of interesting matchups happen, right? Because you might have a plan for when your team is where you want it to be and you have all the skills you want. But when you don't have those skills, when you're low TV, you are going to have a different plan for some of these matchups. Michael Bolin over in the left wide zone. Running towards that end zone. Has it in sight. Will be able to score next turn unless a miracle happens. Two-die block in the right wide zone. Gets a POW against dig a hole. I was going to say look for SPP, but no, he's not. That's a journeyman. He can hire the journeyman. If the journeyman picked up SPP, you could certainly hire the journeyman and have him on your roster. It's what every journeyman dreams of a permanent position on a team. Blitz push to move the lineman back for the mark on Trey Stucker. Turn 15 to as bad as Raiders. Gonna have to roll some dice if they have any hope of stopping the score. They've got to end this turn in scoring position as well. There's just a lot of things that need to happen. BBNet says in Fumble, you can random on a loner before hiring them if they get enough SPP. That's not in the rulebook, though, is it? Is that just a Fumble thing? It's a gray area, I see. One minute to go. Electrics Band looking for what the best opportunity to try to get a draw out of this game is going to be. Rushes to get an assist against Henry Rolong Hitch. I don't know what that knot is. Rolong Hitch. Oh, a rolling hitch. I see. I got it. Here's the blitz. Blitz by Trey Stucker. One die blitz. Well, he really wanted to push himself away to safety. Now it's going to have to be a dodge. At least he gets to move forward here with the removal, but it's still going to be a 3+ dodge. Got the dodge. Rushes into position to get in front of Michael Bolin. Good block. Are we going to see a stand-up by Shock Bowers to try to get down pitch? Let's see. We need to get another player to recover this ball and throw. I don't know where that would possibly happen, though. So maybe not. Moob, welcome to the stream. Moob says Fen wouldn't allow him to move off the mark anyway. Fair enough. Good point. I don't know what else can actually happen here. I guess it's gonna move the ghoul down pitch, 2 rushes, but this is gonna rely. Let's see, 1 2 1 2 1 2 3 1 2. So too far away for a pass currently. It could still happen if the body card say skulls. Then the blitzer could be free to pick it up and pass. But if the blitzer has to blitz, then the blitzer's not going to be able to pass. All right, so moving someone back. Colton Thriller moved to Skellyman, try to get somebody else into position to try to make this score work. I think that was the right decision, honestly. Turn 15 for Entanglements now. There's the assist against Michael Bolin. Against the assist for Michael Bolin. There's a traitor on the roster. Did I block a push? That's not skulls. Push him to the sideline and probably walk this. Oh, follows up. Follows up. I thought it would be a score. All right, it still is. Just show it off. 2-0. Entanglements increase their lead. That's right. Just show it off with that dodge. As bad as Raiders, they're not going to be able to win this one. They might get on the board though if we have a timeout. We'll see. As bad as Raiders with a one-man player advantage. Defense is set with 3 on the line. 6 on the line for the offense. They're moving players not quite onto the line of scrimmage in the left wide zone. They have the number 4 blitzer and a lineman over in the left wide zone. 1 space off the line. Shock Bowers back to receive. Here's the kick. That is not a timeout. As bad as Raiders will get back a reroll, but they're looking for SPP here. They're going to lose this game 2-0. But played a great game, I thought. That was a lot of fun to watch, and very well coached by both coaches, I think. Again, a difficult matchup, I think, for the Underworld, for the Undead team, just in this specific roster. But still played a very good game, I think. And lots more games to go. This is only week 3. Week 3 of 9 in the Chaos Cup before the cut to top 8. And then we have 2 more open competitions after that before the Invitational. So lots more games of Blood Bowl to go. Dude, I block on the line. Gets a pile here against Floyd Trucker Hitch, the number 8 lineman. Mediocre Greatness says, "I am." I read that as like a villainous pronouncement. I am Con Kill, controller of all I see. I am Con Kill, Electric Man, and I play against each other a lot. Yeah, Electric Man told me. I think this is a cool matchup narratively as well. Just having a pair of siblings go at it. One having taught the other and having a game where I think both players, again, I think both have played a very good game. I am Conkill, destroyer of worlds. Ruler of Outworld. Eater of souls. 41 seconds left on the clock here for as bad as Raiders. 2-die block against Pat Clover Hitch. Gets a push here. Spends the reroll. Why not? Got a POW out of this. Trying to remove this blitzer. Maybe get 2 SPP out of this. Gets nothing out of the blitz. The old GG foul, but the ref's on point. The ref says, get out of here. He says, never mind. Never mind, you just paid my rent. That's cool. I didn't see anything. That's right. That was the you owe me whistle. Two minutes 52 seconds left on the clock for as bad as Raiders. Not a whole lot to do here. Blitz has been spent. Pass this ball for some SPP. Yeah, here's that pass attempt. 3+ on the pickup. Works out. Ooh. Fails the pass. Is this in range? Oh. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh. I'd do it. I'd totally do it. Turn 16. Final turn of this game. Entanglements. They're going to win it 2-0. They have 1 turn to collect some SPP here. Maybe injure the opposing team if they so desire. Two-die block on the line, gets a push. I personally think I touched on this earlier. I personally think control teams are some of the hardest teams to coach in the game. So I'm always impressed with a good control showing here. Failed the pickup. Didn't go for the blitz on the ghoul. Boo. That'll be the game. 2-0. Entanglements are going to win this one. And with that win, they will advance into second place. They are undefeated. 2-0-0 is their record. Just 1 touchdown separates first and second place in Division C. Congratulations to Conkill on the victory. And a very well played game by Electrics Man as well. Tough matchup again, I think, in this particular matchup. But Electric Man obviously played a good game and has many more good games ahead. So I look forward to all those. We have a doubleheader coming up later this evening. We'll take a look at the schedule before we leave. Coming up next this evening at 9:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That's UTC -5. So that is a little over 2 hours from now. About an hour, 15 minutes from now. We're going to have the first game of a doubleheader this evening. We have Philosopher's Song versus Dream of Wish Foundation, Spire versus Nick Satan. That's going to be Lizards versus Halflings. That's going to be awesome. Nick Saban, the current league champion, of course. And followed immediately after that, we'll have our second game of the doubleheader. We're going to have the Birds of a Feather versus the Fishy Fiends. Galeshi versus Ajax. That's Elven Union versus Chaos Renegades. That's going to be a fun one as well. We've got a number of games already scheduled here for week 3. Tomorrow night, Monday, February 24th at 8 o'clock p.m. EST. We have Blitzburg Steelers versus the Gutterballs. JD Whitey versus El Nubarino. I don't know what those teams are. I should have had that ready. Let's see. That's Skaven versus Norse. No, that's Skaven versus Orc, I think. Let's see. Yeah, Skaven versus Orc. And then on Tuesday, February 25th at 7:30 p.m., we have Odin It's Snuffle versus Tizark Savage Boys. Clyfeast versus Tizzle Bizzle. That's Norse versus Orc. And then we have a double header next Sunday, March 2nd, starting at 7 o'clock p.m. We have the Goodest Boys Strike Back versus Dinner Barrel Darlings. That's Old Gamer Mike versus Doug the Minotaur. Necro versus Dwarves. And Kevin Bacon himself. And then that'll be followed by the Disco Masters versus Wooden Men and Iron Trees. Ian versus S. Beaver. That's Necro versus what else? We have 4 more games to be scheduled. BB Nutt said, did you see I'm playing Malik on Monday? I didn't, but we'll add that to the schedule. I don't know if it's going to be streamed or not. It might be. I haven't figured it out yet, but I'll definitely add it to the schedule. And by the time we have our doubleheader, I'll have figured it out. But thanks for letting me know. 4 more games left to be scheduled here in week 3, and when those games get scheduled, you'll be able to check out and get alerted to those schedules on our website at maml.club. That's MAML.CLUB here on Twitch, or on our social media pages on Blue Sky, X, and Facebook. You can also watch previous games on our YouTube channel. Play Blood Bowl, man. This game is awesome. You can play Blood Bowl via Blood Bowl 3 on Steam, the Epic Game Store, PlayStation, and Xbox, and in tabletop form at your friendly local game store. Until tonight at 9:30 p.m., the stream's going to start at 9:10. We'll start with a 10-minute countdown before we get into our pre-game. So that's just a little under 2 hours from now. Take care, everybody. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday evening. Hope to see you back here for the doubleheader this evening. Take care.